Hello and welcome back to XCOM2 War of the Chosen. We are playing the impossible challenge. Twice the amount of enemy hit points, ballistic weapons only, 4-man squad only, and permanent dark events. This is a non-winnable game, but we're still trying to keep up as long as we can. We're in month number 3. We have had a successful month so far. But now our successor might come to a swift end as we need to stop the next Advent retaliation. We use our trusted group, Roby and Zirkim here, are going to lead the whole exercise. If we look at the rest of our roster, we really can see that Random is still lightly wounded, and unfortunately Edgar Allan Poe is also out of action for one day, being on the covered ops mission. So, since our secondary team around the yet not named new sharpshooter, by the way, if you're a regular viewer, you can still grab this. Stinger is not a viewer so far. And around Dragunova here, since all of them are either out of action or tired, we need to kind of fall into the lower ranks. And we'll take Esmeralda Marquez here, yet another character who hasn't been claimed. So a couple of viewers should really claim these characters. And we have, as a force character, since we are not having any further snipers, we take Mox with us. I know that Skirmisher had received quite some negative perspective on them, but I think overall he can do fine. What I would want to do with him, though, is give him this expanded magazine, which will allow him to at least shoot twice, fully shoot twice, without completely needing to reload immediately. Good. With that being said, let's get into the mission with that team. We're going to face our first real challenge. We know that Vipers are most likely going to be there. I could imagine that we're going to face the Chosen One, which is going to be very, very bad. I could imagine that we're going to face Faceless Ones. Not even imagine it, I'm pretty sure we're going to face Faceless Ones. But that helps us on our way to Mimic Beacons. Elsewise, I would assume Stun Lancers, Psy Priests, and a couple of Purifiers. We need to stop the Advent retaliation and rescue at least 6 civilians. Specifically, the latter part with rescuing the civilians might cause a bit of a problem. We're starting without any form of concealment, really. So, wow, here we go. Good job, by the way, Roby, having 18 hit points. He's a monster. That's beastly, buddy. I like it. For those of you who aren't unaware, the reason why these guys have so many hit points is we're playing with double hit points. And apparently the game was fair enough to also give our folks double hit points. That's the standard setting of the game. I haven't changed anything. So we're moving in. As always, try to really aggressively move forward. By looking at our options here, I'm almost tempted to go over here, because from here we can move to here and have a really, really nice little look above everything. So we're going to grapple. This is a very aggressive move. We do have a civilian down here. And since we could move in so aggressively, I feel the civilian, 2 of the civilians actually, I feel that we do have a good chance of pushing forward. I'm willing to risk that one of the 2 civilians could be in disguise. By now, we need to take a couple of risks, because I'm not seeing yet that we're going to rescue 6 civilians once we are really facing the first enemies. There we go, 20 hit points Viper, plus a Stun Lancer and a Purifier. This alone here is 48 hit points, so we're going to have a tough time keeping up with these guys. Unfortunately, we haven't taken any Overwatch shots. Good. Let's think about it. The Viper is probably the main problematic target. Maybe also the Stun Lancer. Stun Lancer can come up here and definitely could hit our skirmisher. We're not far enough into the map yet in order to throw the flashbang. The flashbang would be a really nice option though, because I think that taking away this the poison spit ability from the Viper could be a really powerful idea. Also, effectively gaining the high ground here could yield a huge advantage for us. We can try to flank over here. We can try to effectively go up here. And I think just from a strategic standpoint, like moving up and taking it from there really might be the better option. I don't want to trigger too many other packs, to be honest. So although it's not high ground, we might find ourselves in a situation where we would take a bit of cover down here. Full cover, to be honest. And we could get rid of both levels of cover plus expose the Stun Lancer, which wouldn't be the worst, to be honest. He's currently in half cover. Yeah, so probably something along these lines here would make sense. This here would remove most of his cover. The Purifier would still stay in cover though. So we're focusing on the Stun Lancer first. Being in full cover with our Grenadier. We don't have a line of sight on the Stun Lancer, but we can change that. This here could be a solid shot, but I think in terms of safety first, we might consider the flashbang grenade. We could justice pull either of these guys. Unfortunately, the tree is in the way. That's really unfortunate because the Stun Lancer is exposed. Should have moved over here and taken a shot onto the Stun Lancer, which would have been the better play. We can still like put ourselves into that spot. Unfortunately, the Stun Lancer, this tree here is blocking like all of the line of sight. So instead, we can move almost up to here and start to use the full cover here in order to make some plays. Plus have a second civilian saved. That's an option. The other option is to effectively prevent mocks from being hit. The Stun Lancer could either go for Zirkim here or for mocks. He doesn't see Zirkim, although Zirkim can be seen by the others, so maybe he would go down this way. Stun Lancer could also go up here. So how about we use 8 Protocol onto Mox, just to give him that extra piece of protection. He's the only one that can be seen by everyone else. And we use the best possible grenade for us. Can't really hit the Viper, at least not from what I'm seeing. But we can still at least prevent the Stun Lancer from doing anything stupid. We need to set up for the next round. This was unsuccessful in terms of really not being able to accomplish a lot. I would still go for a solid shot to wiggle down the Stun Lancer and the Purifier, both of them being disoriented. Not very surprisingly, they are trying to... Oh, wow. One more pack. Now it's getting interesting because we have a lot of hit points on the field now, plus stasis, which might make the whole scenario so much more difficult. And luckily for us, we haven't triggered this sector yet, but we know that that's about to happen. Okay, so first things first. Getting the tree out of the way is difficult, very, very difficult, because trees have, in XCOM, have just such a high amount of hit points. And usually that will prevent you from destroying them with anything less than a plasma grenade. I think we are fine on our positioning here, quite generally. We have a huge exposure towards this upper area, though. And we don't want to trigger the third pack because that would probably be good game at that stage. We can try to get rid of the tree, but I'm not sure if that's going to work. I've seen it multiple times that it hadn't been successful. The other option is really getting rid of some of the cover here. The car is not going to explode. This here would be taken away, so the stun lancer definitely would take some damage. And wait a second. Oh, nice. We can even explode that barrel to deal some extra damage. So let's go for the safe play. I want to make sure that the stun lancers are being dealt with. The Viper is really an absolute annoyance, but we can't change it right now. That's a very low shot, and if you look at the poisonous debuff of minus 30%, you will realize why that is happening. So what we're going to do is we're going to Gremlin heal, which takes our first turn, but it's well worth it. Not only does we get full hit points back on Zirkim, we also get a very decent shot. So this here might as well be a crit. There we go. Nice little 7 points of damage. We could try to hit this guy, which is most likely not going to kill him. If we were to justice pull him, that's just simply 4 points of damage. Or we deal 6 points of damage to a yet uninjured demolisher. While dealing the maximum amount of damage is a good idea, I feel we would have like spread out our damage quite thin, like a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. That's really not what we would want to do. So we're going to focus on one target, and that target today is the stun lancer. Critical hit, which worked out super well. Question is it worth standing up here? And the answer is most likely no. So what we're going to do is, by falling back to here, we are effectively just, and closing that door by the way, we're denying line of sight here, which is perfect, so the stun lancers cannot, or no one can see us through here. Roby will be secure for now. We are taking an overwatch here. Roby would be able to shoot here and up here in case one of the stun lancers makes a run. If this stun lancer moves first, we can even kill him. This stun lancer moves first, we're probably in a situation where it doesn't really matter. By moving to here, we're in a we're in a cover spot, and we do have our grappling hook next turn, and I'm considering like grappling up right up here to have a flanking position from the get-go. Okay, so that's the core idea. You need to know when to fall back and how to abuse line of sight vision. The tongue misses. The Overwatch is not super difficult to break. And like I said, they have a terrible, terrible aim. There's the Overwatch I was talking about. This unfortunately was a hit. There's the Holy Warrior. Holy Warrior means if we can kill him, we can also kill her or it. That's the second attempt. This time a miss. And this here would be yet another pack, so we need to be careful. Okay. So one thing after the other. Clearly, we have a lot to do. The natural idea here is to kill him, because with killing off the priest, we would get rid of 20 extra hit points, 4 armor. This is not going to fly. We're not going to attack the Viper. However, by moving to anywhere here, right, we're immediately going to trigger the Sectoid, which is yet another creature to take care about. Which means, believe it or not, we might leave this Viper where it is currently. As long as we are not being grappled, we should be fine. And we might want to consider really focusing on the rest. We have 2 stun lancers that can die on this round. We do have a Purifier, which could die as well. So having the flanking shot on it would be is very helpful for us. We have Zirchem as well as others. Zirchem he's not triggering Overwatch shots, so might as well just go and leave from this position. Shooting him would most likely, I mean, he could technically kill him with maximum damage and a crit, but that's most likely not going to happen. So let's do the things first that are most pressing, okay? We want to make sure that these guys here are actually dying. Oh, nice. He has a clearer shot. Wait a second. Wait a second. That could be... That Justice Pool here could actually turn the tides of the game. Hello! What the heck is going on? So this very much could be a game-winning move. We literally pull this guy into an open field. that's going to be fun, guys. That is going to be fun. I mean, this here would trigger an Overwatch shot, but we would have a flanking position onto him. Stun Lancer would still be alive, which I think is a bummer. We cannot really afford that to happen. The shot onto... So we need to make a decision. Do we want to kill the Stun Lancer or do we want to kill the Priest? The Priest could take a lot of damage, but we're not sure if that's going to really manifest. What we are sure about is that the Zirchem needs healing. No problem. What's going to happen? There we go. And let's see if we can kill this priest anyways. So a couple of crits would be nice. That was one. Pretty well done with the flanking shot. Now having the ability to, well, this guy here with his Overwatch, that's a real bummer. Having the ability to effectively crit him another time would almost seal his fate. He still has sustenance, so I'm not overly confident that we can kill him this round. But with a melee attack, he could immediately die. If he dies, the Viper is gone as well. So how about the following idea? We're getting the guys out of line of sight mostly. By moving over here, that's going to trigger the Overwatch from the Viper. However, with moving over here, we're in a flanking position and there's a high chance that we can kill the priest, given that sustenance is not going to work. Overwatch shot misses. We are out of line of sight. Plus, by the way, save the civilian, which is always a nice little plus. And this here needs to be a crit. Come on, buddy. Too bad. So we're going to move. No, dude. We're going to move. And unfortunately, this did not crit, but we injured it severely. Lots of double movement. This is probably going to be another lancing. Oh wow, critical. Critical hit this time. Too bad. So they definitely charge very much into our direction. And we just triggered the last pack. Another 2 stun lancers. Wow, that's going to suck. All right, we got a couple of things to do. Number one, we finally ended that stun lancer. We unfortunately can't really do anything against him being in stasis, other than effectively moving into cover, like here, and taking a shot. Let's hope that the sustenance of the priest will not work. We killed it, and with it, the Viper died. Unfortunately, the stasis is not revoked. So we're finding ourselves in this weird spot where definitely, at least the Grenadier will take some damage, which means we might want to position ourselves in a way where we are having enough cover. Up here would be an option, but that wouldn't really help against the demolisher. So Roby, I mean, realistically speaking, he will still move to here, but we're just fanning out to make sure we're not being targeted all at once. That's a nice little 5 damage. Good job, Roby. We're having 2 demolishers, and there are additional creatures like on their way. Our Grenadier now will take fire damage. Yep, there was absolutely no question that that's going to happen. And that is bad because Roby burning means we can't use our healing ability. That again means we can't really cleanse the fire. So we will probably use 2 turns really just to duck down and stop the burning. So he can still, oh, they changed it. He can still use his healing, which he will do in order to stop the burning for our Grenadier. We need all of the action turns that we can get at the moment. And he will use Hunker Down to make sure that he's going to be fine. Now, as for her, as for this Demolisher, how about we reload? I don't understand why we're not allowed to fire a weapon. And I'm afraid to slash him because there is always the chance that they explode. I really don't know why we're not allowed to use the slash weapon here. That's completely beyond me. Anyways, we're going to move back with her and just kill this guy. As I expected, he is immediately exploding. Furthermore, we are grappling back up here. Get the high ground advantage because we need to kill the guy down there. That's 1 hit. And we need maximum damage now. No, no, no. We have no more ammunition. That's bad. Oh, wow, we're lucky. The sectoid could have easily hit us. We have no more flashbang grenade, which means we kind of need to deal with... Oh, unconscious, really? Okay. I was very worried for a second. Okay, we got our backline somewhat cleared again. It's now time to begin to kill this stun lancer, though. He's definitely going to be our next main target. So let's move up. And we need to hope for some hits. Because unless we hit, the stun lancer is definitely going to be able to run us down. But with our melee striking capabilities, thanks to Blade Master, we should be okay. 100% hit, 6 points of damage, that's good. And now we got 3 points and another 2 points. So the stun lancer's down. We are almost in a safe spot again. The problem is now the mind control. Nice. We resisted the mind control. That was very good and super helpful. One of the stun lancers is running Rampage. Where are we with a count for our civilians? We got 2 saved, 3 dead, and there's definitely something more that we need to do. We're unfortunately completely out of ammunition, and as you can imagine, we have a hard time getting up there. So what would we need to do? Probably we will need to move around that house, hoping to catch this guy off guard. And these two here are probably in a bit of a clutch, to be honest. I mean, we can shoot twice. He's somewhat in cover. We are not at all in cover. So might as well, I mean, one option is to move here, but then the sectoid can move here. The sectoid is usually not moving into open territory. We could move here. This here would be all way too much movement. Can't move to the top. He still has a revive, which he's maybe going to use to animate the zombie. We take one more round for a Justice Punch. This here would be the secure shot, but we can't kill it. So let's get into some sort of cover in case the AI decides to shoot. And yeah, we just destroyed his cover. So he's moving down. He decided to take a shot, which is brave, because normally they just reanimate. Ooh, 6 points of damage just by exploding. Oh, that is interesting. So we're moving closer. We're going to explode that sectoid. So 6 points of damage right away. Moving up into yet another cover. Did we just catch fire? No, this is just a graphical bug. She's not burning. Sectoid takes 8 points of damage, and I think there is no more appropriate way to kill a sectoid other than blade mastering him to death. Melee vulnerability, 10 points of damage. There you go. Okay, actually we do have one more healing. Which I think we can use on Zirkim. In case he's getting hit again, I don't want on Roby. On Zirkim, sorry. In case he's getting hit again, I really don't want him to stay in the hospital for too long. So we're using some of our actions. And moving into cover. There's the stun lancer. Wow, longest run ever. Out of the dark, double movement, nothing that we could have done. We're not going to outrun him, so might as well try to deal as much damage as we can. Which, by the way, works out beautiful. We'll give Roby here the kill. That's where the faceless ones are finally showing up, which means we have killed all of the rest of these aliens. We're going to move up with Zirkim, and I want him to overwatch, because the regeneration of enemies always works like that. They start to regenerate at the beginning of their turn, which means if we would have taken a shot at them, they would have just regenerated it. However, if you overwatch and they run into your overwatch, there is a very decent chance for them to actually take a lot of damage, and you profit from it because it's not being healed. Our main target clearly is to eliminate these monsters, have as much distance between them and us as possible. With a high amount of hit points, it is not as easy as it might sound. Moving back, just so we're not being targeted. It's a wonderful idea. We don't even need cover against these guys. All we need is sufficient damage. Oh, and that looks great. I love it. So, one more enemy, 24 points of health. I'm probably going to take at least one hit. I'm not sure if we can outlive 24 hit points. We don't have that sort of damage output. Most likely not. So Zirgim is the dedicated frontliner now, and the rest of the crew just tries to deal as much damage as possible for them. Only one shot from our skirmisher, unfortunately. We need to reload and shoot. Minimum damage. Well, that is not going to be enough. But what we could do is we could move here. So and we're either going to deal 4 to 6 or 6 to 8. So we're going to melee attack this guy. Down to 5 hit points. Yeah, he hit us anyways for 5. Zirkim finishes it, and that should be the run. Took many more wounds than I was expecting and really had a very weak opening. The whole fight around this container area at the beginning, I felt we were actually not performing super well there. I did a lot of sloppy mistakes, specifically the first round where the grenade and the flashbang had been used was somewhat wasteful. I did not really pay enough attention towards the distance of the enemies, so that could have been avoided. Once we were in a better position, and specifically the fallback was the right reaction. The game, the absolute stunning gameplay from my perspective was the option to pull the priest out of its deep cover back there and putting him into the open, which led to kill effectively two monsters at once. Lightly wounded, 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 lightly wounded. This is kind of how an average run could look like. Everyone is going to spend days in the hospital. And Mox, funnily enough, now has the option to level up. When fired upon, gains 1 extra action on the next turn. That is bullshit, and that is also bullshit. So we're waiting for the sergeant abilities. Sorry, Mox, but yeah, not going to happen. We can give Mox and our newly found Grenadier a bond, and I mean, why not? As for Roby and Zirkim, they still have only 1.4 cohesion. Slowly but surely they get into the direction where they can maybe bond. They don't like each other in this run. We rescued 10 civilians, by the way, which is a very good number considering the circumstances, and we killed almost all of them. So the tactic, pull everything and have a massive fight, worked out flawlessly. We got 30 supplies. And Slinger here has now the demonophobia that we already saw earlier. Fear of the Chosen had been acquired by Slinger and a couple of others. Sucks, but I can't change that. So, as for the armory, is there anything that we need to do? No, Mox wants to be leveled up. Fuck you. It's not going to happen. You need to get Sergeant first, and then we can start to talk. By the way, we already killed over 200 losts. I just realized that. I think that's very funny. Good, we can increase regional income, but I would really like to get the black market instead. Because with the black market, we should be able to buy alien alloys, which we aren't. Screw you. We got an advanced conditioning. That is 4 hit points. No, let's stick with the intel for now. And we don't want to sell anything either. We are still being haunted here by the UFO. So I guess what we really want to do is we want to make contact, but we are lacking the resistance contacts. So maybe an increase in regional income isn't the worst. And there we go. We raised our level with the Reapers by 1. Gained experience, that's great. Gained experience, and aim has permanently increased by 4. And we can promote... Oh no, she was already promoted before. Cool. Let's see what else we can do. Supplies and engineer. Engineer is really good. I like the idea, and I specifically like the idea with the promotion. But to be honest, we are going to start with the new faction, because a new faction means new missions and also another unit, the Templar that we would gain. So how about we continue to use the new, wait a second. So, we got a lot of wounded guys there. The next ranger, Zirkim, is going to come in 13 days. So we actually need a ranger at the moment. 4 more days for Roby. So Noxus could go onto this mission. Yeah, let's use Noxus to go onto this mission. Gets a nice little reward. +5 hacking isn't bad at all. And let's use the same rookie here, Dominica Viga. She had been promoted from her first mission. Actually, she's a sniper, which isn't bad. I like it. And we're going to use her on the mission, because having another sniper cannot really hurt. Actually serves our purpose quite well. So back to the resistance ring, covered ops action. We're going to use Noxus here to lead this operation. And we're going to use her, Dominica Viga, as a support. She should get some XP. There's a moderate chance of being wounded, fair enough. And it would add a new faction hero to our group. Good, very good so far. Perfect. We found, or we finished to build the laboratory. If we were to upgrade it, we would need additional power, which we cannot do at the moment. But with one person looking, with one scientist looking after it, it's actually pretty good. So that's another almost 20% reduction in research time. We continue our excavation here in the middle. We'll take 16 more days until we get more energy. And we would need a training lab and a proving ground relatively soon. Actually, training lab, proving ground, and an infirmary would all help. We continue in research. This time we can go for the Skulljack option. And it allows us to really use the proving grounds as a building. So we might want to consider going there first. Commander, we've made an astonishing breakthrough. We must begin researching rapid excavation immediately. That's not bad. Stun Lancer gets an instant research. So we have the Arc Blade and the Ionic Ripjack. Arcblade is the upgraded version of the normal sword, which we're not going to use because we are playing with ballistic weapons only. The Ionic Ripjack is the version for the skirmisher, so similarly a no. So improvement to our materials handling process will allow the next excavation project to be completed instantly, which means we're sacrificing 10 days of research for an instant excavation. Considering how bad we would need the excavations at the moment, I almost feel that that's a worthwhile trade. The other option, plated armor, which I would really want to start, still needs 15 alien alloys, which we, surprisingly enough, still do not have. The Purifier here is an option though, and the Viper is later an option as well for the improved medikits. For now, let's go for the research to instantly excavate. We would get another full excavation and save a lot of days with it. So I think overall, not a bad idea. And there's our next sharpshooter. Was the one that we trained in our GTS. I think the only class that we haven't trained this for a second time was a Ranger. Now, with our new sharpshooter, Ramon here, we're pretty much okay in terms of character pool. We have enough soldiers. I highly doubt, honestly, that later in the game, once our prime team would die, that a couple of rookies can pull it off without equipment. So we might need to use the promotion missions from the covered ops in order to get a second team really up and running. This month we were successful. I mean, retaliation stop, guerrilla mission, and so on and so forth. Really a more favorable month from our side. And we're now entering month number 4, if I recall correctly. So we're already in that path of it's a very good result. I think from here on it will go down quite steeply. This year sucks. Intense training, increasing the power in combat. She's already super strong, and I don't really want to face her with yet another ability. The lowering XCOM income is really not important. We got another hidden event here. These have been postponed, which is good. Our next retaliation strike will not happen this month, and I would probably again go for the hidden event or return fire. Both could work. The cool part is we now have the Reapers and an extra slot, which means we're going to again use the Between the Eyes in case of any lost missions happening. Other topics, other options that we do have here, decoys and deception is really not that important, because we don't even want to be in a situation where the chosen can extract knowledge. Resistance supplies, it doesn't matter, to be honest. I think that's one of the weakest ones, and we're not having a problem of a too thin roster. So construction speed, research speed, and anything that could add resistance contacts, that would be very, very helpful. Unfortunately, we don't have that yet, so we need to work with what we have. Finding the Templars will end in 4 days, and let's hope we get a couple of covered actions to maybe reduce the avatar progress this month. Permanent increase by 20, which is not bad. We're not going for additional supplies because, again, quite honestly, we have enough supplies. We are missing the contacts. I'm building another radio station down here so that the intel to make a contact in South America would be cheaper. So let's install the radio. I'm not sure if this is asking for trouble, to be honest. I mean, we're constantly flying next to the UFO. Dr. Noxus is wounded, but gained XP. Viga, our sniper, gained XP, and we finally got our new faction hero. Plus, we opened up a completely new faction. That's helpful. Let's see what kind of... No, I'm not interested in that. Let's see what kind of additional missions we could get. So their resistance orders is resource rewards on all missions are increased by 15%. And when a squad mate dies, the entire squad receives a random bonus for 2 turns. Okay. I don't want death in the first place. Recover loot, reduce avatar project progress. So whenever that comes up, it, in my perspective, trumps everything else. So that is the #1 mission that we should go to. I really like it. The other mission that that strikes my interest is, of course, increasing the cohesion with either skirmishers or Templars. The next one that could be good is increasing the bond threshold, specifically for Roby and Zirkim. They don't seem to like one another all too much, and this year would force them to work together. Ability points at the moment are not important. Intel and supplies are also not super important. So yeah, quite frankly, I mean, alien loot could be good. Quite frankly, we're going to go for the reduce avatar progress. And by looking at our roster, I mean, who could, the real reward is mobility +1. So who of our main team could use that kind of ability? We are always we are always looking at having at least one full team available. If we now choose Edgar Alien Poe, we do have Slinger still available, and I think therefore Alien Edgar Poe gets it. Having this extra mobility can absolutely work well. We're definitely going to pay the resources, no questions asked, and he is going to work together with yet another sharpshooter. We're going to take Dominica here with him. You know what? Let's use our Templar, because the Templar anyways needs to level up, and I'm not sure if we really have a spot in our group. We only have 4 spots, so I would not use him if he's not high enough of a level. So using him here might be pretty good. Ambush level low, no chance of being captured. I think the soldier captured is the ambush, to be honest. Let's hope we're not running into an ambush. That would majorly suck if that would happen. And in 10 days, we will have reduced the Avatar project by 1. Or no, even by 2, I think, and it will stop increasing for the next couple of days, which is wonderful because it keeps us in the game. We're already at halfway there. Okay, so the hunt, the UFO hunt, finally turned out to be maybe too much for us. We're now relying on Bradford to maneuver us out of here. And I know how well Bradford can do that. So yeah, we might as well have just stayed there. Bradford and his abilities to like completely outmaneuver the enemy are legendary in the purest form of the word. He has almost never, I think I witnessed it once in at least 30 runs, he has almost never ever evaded that kind of ambush. Anyways, we're going to see a defense mission, defend the Avenger. It's not the worst thing that could happen because it means free XP and we can get everyone on board. It still means afterwards probably we'll have a couple of wounded guys, so it will weaken us. But it's a double-edged sword, and we're not limited to the 4-man because we will bring whoever is available. Stay tuned and see you in the next mission.